What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my week three college basketball top 25. Let's get into it here in the others receiving votes. Ole Miss, St. John's, Wisconsin with a big upset last week. UCF and Xavier are all here. All these teams itching to get into the top 25, and no teams are falling out. I still have it this way. I think it's too early to really overreact and one loss drop you out. So I have both Texas teams, A&M and the Longhorns. 21 and 22. A&M responds by beating Ohio State after they beat Texas, and Texas comes back two blowout wins. Rutgers, Illinois, Florida, same thing, and a good win for them at Florida State. Obviously, all these teams are playing good basketball early on. 16 through 20, Arizona takes a big tumble down after a 15-point loss on the road to Wisconsin, and they get rewarded with a home game against Duke. Now, it's a big game for them. I think if they lose that one, then we might see our first team fall out of the rankings at this point in the season. Lost two losses is a lot. Indiana, Arkansas State, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, obviously all big wins last week in one game. And Cincinnati does have, I think, not a tough game, but a more challenging game than a lot of these other games going on the road to Georgia Tech. 11 through 15, Creighton, North Carolina, Baylor all fall back one just because of some other teams jumping them. Marquette, good wins last week. Close one against Central Michigan at home, which is kind of concerning. And then they go on the road to beat Maryland. Now they're playing Purdue actually right now. Um, that game just started when I'm making this video, so we'll see how that affects them. But two tough games there for the Golden Eagles this week at Georgia, and then the game against Purdue. Baylor, tough game at St. John's. Creighton plays Nebraska, which could be a good game. And like I said, Duke at Arizona. It's a big game for both of those programs this early in the season. 6 through 10, Purdue jumps all the way up to 6 after their big win against Alabama at home by 9. Kentucky, same thing. In the Champions Classic, beat Duke by 5. They move up to 7. And then that means Alabama's obviously fallen behind Purdue at 8 with their loss. And they get Illinois this week in another ranked matchup there for the Tide. So maybe they can actually turn the tide and get a win there. Houston was coasting now. After that one loss, they fall back a little bit, but I think this team's going to be a top 10 team all year. They always are. Kelvin Sampson and his defensive ways. Houston's always a very good team. And Tennessee, I think, could be an interesting team out of the SEC. They have talent to make a deep run this year. And I think we're really going to see that at Virginia. I think that's going to be a good game. Then 1 through 5, I still have UConn on top, obviously. Defending champs, it's only right. Kansas at 2, good win in the Champions Classic against Michigan State. They played good basketball in that game, and I think they showed why they are a top 5 team. Gonzaga, not much to say there except another dominating win. Iowa State, same thing, probably another one this week. And then Auburn, obviously their big win early on, jumped them all the way up here, and now they get Northern Alabama and probably another blowout. But I think it's too early for overreactions. I think week 4, I think, is when you really find those teams that are going to start to slip and that are kind of surprising. Because I think 5, 6 games, that's when you really know kind of what these teams are going to sort of look like heading into conference play. But that's going to be it for my week 3 power rankings. Check back next week to see where these teams rank. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.